Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today I am going to be trying out a foundation that I showed in a recent video. I was going to do a full face of new makeup, which I will do in the future. However, today I did want to try out something else for another video. So what I decided to do was just give this foundation a go on screen on video, just to see what it's like and to give first impressions, because I've literally been sitting and not opening any of the makeup I showed you in my haul. Well, okay, so maybe one or two things, but definitely not the foundations or the powder, because I wanted to showcase them in a video and give a true first impressions. So I do apologise for the look, but this is how I look without makeup, so we're not gonna get alarmed. You've seen it before. So I'm going to pop that in there just to keep that bit of hair back off my face. I'm going to use this primer. The name, I think it's the Talica. Is it Talica? And it is the Phyto Hydro. This is the one that was in a glossy box. Forever ago. I am currently trialling the Bare Minerals because I have a little sample of that and I want to use it up. But I don't generally use silicone based primers. I'm not the biggest fan. So what I want to do with this foundation is use the kind of primer that I would normally use. So I've got quite a bit there because I like to do, because this is also a moisturiser, I like to just do the face and down the neck, because you've got to look after your neck. So that's what I tend to do. So I probably only got one more application in there, so that's quite exciting. I know it seems weird, but sometimes it's quite exciting when you reach in the end of a product. It just is. I like it. Can you tell I'm all over the place today? This is the Gosh Dextreme. So it's really, really full coverage. So I don't know whether to just go in with this or whether to cover some of the rosacea, because I am going to film another video after this, as I mentioned, and I don't want to not have my redness covered. I do have rosacea, as you can see around the centre part of my face here. Spots, not too bad at the moment. Let me touch something wood, because I'll just have a huge breakout. But yeah, I do have the redness. So I think what we'll do is I'll actually try it on one side of my face. I've got the Real Techniques face, it's not face, I say it every time, body sponge. Look at the size of that. It's so huge. But I do love this for coverage. I'm not lazy, but it just does the face look quicker. And normally I'd use a brush, but I do want to get more back into using sponges for my foundation. I just think you get a really nice finish. So here's the proof that it is unused. Haven't even pumped it yet. So sorry for that interruption. Okay, and excuse, there's a mark on the back of my hand where I was swatching something. So that's it. It's quite runny, but it's been on there warming on my hand for a minute. It looks like it's oxidized slightly. So let us see. This is 002. And sometimes it's hard to tell whether there's something, because people might go, oh, that's far too light for you. But once you warm it up with bronzer and stuff like that, but you've also got to remember, my skin is overly red because of the rosacea. So, you know, you've got to allow for that. Okay. Coverage actually is really great. There's a little bit more. Just because I do feel like using a sponge, I don't know, I just feel like it shears it out a bit, whether that's the water content in there. Excuse my dog's being a bunch of muppets in the background. God knows what she's barking at now. She seems to have found, I don't know if there's a new dog on the street, but she seems to have found a bit of a barking companion. They were barking at each other earlier. Well, the coverage on that seems pretty good. I can see a little bit of redness here and on the nose, but I don't know if that's down to just have I got too much water in the sponge possibly? I'll just put a tiny little dot back out of my hand. Just try to put a bit more coverage on the nose. If you look at that with my neck, it's not too bad actually. I mean, in person, it's actually a really nice match, but on camera the lights can tend to make things look a little bit brighter. Well, on the other side, I'll do what I normally would, which is I'll pop some concealer on. I've got a foundation brush and cover some of that redness up, just the way I normally would. Okay, so on this side I'm actually going to go in how I'd normally do it, because I might as well now I've done the concealing part. I don't know if you can see. The outer two parts are just bumped, and in the middle is the actual foundation that's been on there for a minute. It definitely oxidizes. So I want to put this on with a brush. Wow, okay. Because I normally use a brush. Sorry, I apologise for my noisy dog. I know it looks crazy, but honestly, in person, it's actually not too bad. It's actually quite a nice little match because it has oxidised somewhat. So, and I don't think it's quite finished settling because in person, this side is definitely a little bit darker to this that's just gone on. I will say that I am really, really impressed. I mean, I know I've got concealer on there, but sometimes the concealer, even the concealer with foundation on top, sometimes you still do see a little bit of redness. And actually I have no redness there, so I'm really, really impressed with the coverage. I think that this side, I like it. I mean, I like how it applied with the sponge as well. I definitely just need to be a bit better about wetting those sponges and getting them ready on a morning. I do still feel like there's a little bit of discoloration here, just because those are my reddest areas. But overall, I do think that the coverage is so good. I'm just going to use what's left on this brush here. It does seem to layer quite nicely. It seems to perform quite well. I'm really, really impressed with the coverage, in fairness, and it does seem to be sitting quite nicely on the skin. It doesn't seem to be like too much kind of drawing attention to the area where the skin is still a bit broken out, so that's quite good as well. I'm going to pop a little bit of my favourite concealer under the eyes for brightening, which is Collection. This one is in, I think it's Milk. It is the lightest shade and it's really, really nice. Pop that there. I'm just going to use the foundation brush just to add a little bit of brightness under the eye. I don't add too much because I don't find that I really suffer from really dark under eye circles. I'm quite lucky. And then I am going to powder my face. I am actually going to use a little bit of a different technique today. I'm using Light Plus MAC Mineralized Skin Finish. Is it Mineralized Skin Finish? I think it is. That's what it looks like. And I've got a little powder puff because I've been putting my loose powders on with a powder puff, so I thought I'd give this one a go. I have got the Colour Stay, Revlon Colour Stay powder, but I kind of want to use that with the foundation. And I don't really want to use it with this one, you know what I mean. It gives me something to then use in another video. And I like to press the powder into the face. I am combination skin and quite oily, so I do find that pressing the foundation on is what is best for me, because the powder, because I'm literally pressing that into the skin and it sets it. And this is just a really nice powder. I mean, this used to be domed, so I don't know if you can see, it's not really anymore. I do use this a lot. It is like the best powder I've ever used. This is just really high quality and I really like the look of my skin when I use it. Also, it's got a little bit of colour to it, so that is just kind of helping. But that just helps to press the foundation in and really set it. Right, okay, well I've never applied that with a powder puff before, so there is an experiment in itself. What I would do next is then just spray. Because I watched a video once and I think it was, I don't know if you can see my breath, it's really cold in here. It's just gone suddenly very cold. I like to use the moisture to like set those base products in place before I put anything else on top of them. Just because I feel that it kind of just gives a really nice finish to your skin. It allows those products to kind of mould together, to kind of melt together. So I'm going to dry off. Hello. No. He's very cute. He's very naughty.
Naughty, naughty.
Here he is.
What is that? Oh, Finley.
He looks innocent, but believe me, very much not. You're evil. Okay. So overall, I'm actually really impressed with the coverage. I think the coverage is really nice. I know it looks kind of weird because I've got nothing on my eyes or my lips. But yeah, really, really nice. So that is the Gosh Dextreme. This side has been done with a sponge, and this side is how I normally do it, which is with concealer and then the foundation. I did think that with as much rosacea as I've got, that the concealer underneath definitely helped get full coverage. There was still a tiny bit of redness here after one layer of it with just this. So I would say that if you have really reasonably good skin and not a lot of redness, one layer of this would definitely do it. Really full coverage, really, really impressed with it. Went on really nice and smoothly. I blended out really nicely. I really like how it looks. But if you have rosacea or redness, definitely highly recommend this still, because honestly the coverage over here, I really love how my skin looks. It just looks really nice. So I'd highly recommend it. I just always put concealer on first, and that's a tip that I got from Scott Barnes when he did Tatty's makeup. He did her concealer first, and I didn't used to do that. I used to do it after, but it really kind of makes sense to do it first because you're covering all of the little areas up that you want to cover first, and then you go in with foundation as your kind of finishing product, and that's just like going to cover everything. And then it just adds that extra cover over the areas where you've already kind of covered. Does any of that make sense? I don't know. But yeah, I just think that I never ever now do concealer after. The only thing I do after is if sometimes I add a bit of brightness underneath the eyes, and that's not really concealing, it's brightening. And I always do that after. But really, really impressed with that. Highly recommend that. That's available at Superdrug. I'll put a link to it down below. There's not a huge amount of shades in this though, I have to say that. Gosh, are not very good for having a large amount of foundation shades, which can be a little bit disappointing. But maybe if you have a look, they'll have something that suits you. So this one is 002. I couldn't see a 001, but I think that 001 would be really, really pale. I don't even know if they do a 001. But highly impressed with 002. I do think that it settled quite nicely. Definitely is a perfect match for me. I don't know if that's shown on camera because, like I said, sometimes camera flashback and all that with studio type lighting, it can make a difference. But definitely in person, I am impressed. So that's it for now, guys. I know I'm not finished, but I will be doing that in the next video. And I will see you in the next one. Did I just say that? Oh well. Okay, guys. Bye.